So this is a heat of the Diamond Challenge Sculls between, on the far side, James Scott from New Zealand, and on this near side, the sculler from the Netherlands, and I've got to pronounce his name correctly, Schwarz.
I'm glad you have to do the pronunciations on me, Martin.
So Schwarz just moving over there, having a few steering trouble, being warned by the umpire. And Schwarz, a handy sculler, came 8th in the Junior World Championships when they were held in Tokyo back in 2019. Preparation for the Olympic Games. He was in a Dutch under-23 4 in 2021. Didn't do that well, wasn't in the A final. But tradition of Dutch sculling, Melvin Zwela, of course, won World Cup 2 in Poznan, and he's kind of new kid on the block in terms of men's sculling. You ever been in the Diamonds, Mark?
No, it's an event I never did at Henley, and something I always wanted to do, but just it never fell right within the boat class I was competing at the time, internationally or when I was racing at Leander. So it was, yeah, an event I never did, but it's, you know, racing down or up this course is obviously the most challenging thing in a single scull.
So James Scott representing Wairiki Boat Club here from New Zealand. In New Zealand he rows for Tauranga Rowing Club, coached by Calvin Ferguson, who's taken New Zealand doubles to Olympic gold medals and the like.
And is Scott, is he meant to be staying in the single, Martin, or is he going to move across to the crew boat? Is that?
I think he didn't make the crew boat. The Australian, so the Kiwi quadruple scull, and he's in that squad. They didn't have a great World Cup regatta. I think they finished 11th in Poznan. So it's a little bit back to the drawing board for that crew. And I think Scott is the spare man for the quad, in effect. I think I've got that right. I hope so.
So the important thing for him is that any race he does, he's trying to make sure the performance is at a level that may open a door for him to kind of get back in that boat class.
Beautifully put, Mark, beautifully put. Neither of these two scullers have been selected by the stewards. And you can see the sculler on the left of your picture, Schwarz from the Netherlands, just having a little bit of trouble with his steering, still in close contact with James Scott. He won the D final in Poznan, so he came 19th. A big field in Poznan, but the quality at the top end, the likes of Ollie Zeidler or Chettle Borsch weren't there. So I think he's got a bit to go in terms of, you know, competing at the top end of international sculling. But this would be a great experience for him. Get down the Henley course against, you know, a decent opponent and have a decent scull.
Yeah, and especially with this particular boat class, like, even if you're in a crew, is that the more you race, obviously, the more you learn about a particular boat category. Especially in the single scull, it's learning more and more about yourself and about how you can push those limits at certain points. And just really kind of how you evolve your kind of race plan as you move through the season.
So just put it in context, Mahe Drysdale, the Kiwi, has won the Diamond Challenge Sculls 6 times here. I mean, where does James Scott stand against Mahe Drysdale?
Well, Mahe was a phenomenon. Like, it was pretty unique what he was able to accomplish in his career. And obviously the size of Mahe, you know, the ability to come from any point in a race and win. And I gather, you know, James will aspire to be like that, but there's still a lot of work to be done, I think. You know, if you think he won the D final at the first World Cup, there's still a long way to go in that journey. Yeah,
so the man's on a journey. I guess we all are, really. But James Scott in the centre of the course. I'm looking down there. He's well over the centre of the course. It's interesting the umpire hasn't said anything, because I think, aren't the crews meant to be on their particular stations? But yes. I'm looking out, and he is, like, right on the far side. And Schwarz is right on the booms, and the umpires, Matt Pinn, hasn't said anything.
Yeah, because if you look at where the umpire's launch is, that is in the dead centre of the actual course, and obviously either side of that is where the athlete should be. But I gather the umpire perceives that James has enough space between him and his, you know, competitor on the other station, so he thinks it's okay for him to be in that position. But he is quite a long way over there.
Yeah, I guess you feel safe right in the middle, away from the booms on either side. He's been going pretty hard throughout this race, James Scott. and he's coming up to the Henley finish now. You can see Schwarz there having to look over his shoulder. Am I still in contact? Can I still have a little sprint? I think it's too late for you, Joost. And James Scott takes this heat of the Diamond Challenge Sculls, progresses on to Friday's racing, and it's the last race at the regatta for Schwarz. Confirmation, Scott beat Schwarz in the Diamonds.